Just because people have different opinions than I do doesn't mean we all can't get along. This is something I've been pondering more since I started riding Honda's new Foreman Rubicon 520. I can't deny that the new Rubicon is a great ATV, despite it not having features I prefer or certain specifications I deem mandatory. The reason I can still like this ATV is, let's be honest, it does still have a long list of things that I prefer, but more so, some of the things that I'm not looking for are the exact same things other people are. What's the new 2020 Foreman Rubicon 520 all about? Is it better than the 2019 500, and if so, why? Let's start with the chassis and suspension, and we'll save the engine for last. Chassis-wise, the 2020 Rubicon is basically unchanged from the 2019 model. AA arms offer up 7.3 inches of travel up front and 8.5 inches of travel out back, and they both combine to give you 9.4 inches of total ground clearance. The shocks are basic gas-charged preload adjustable units that are valved relatively soft and provide a good ride at normal trail speeds. All in all, the suspension setup on the Rubicon definitely borders on having just barely enough of everything, yet still manages to outperform my expectations time and time again. Honda's latest version of their EPS power steering system gets an increase in assist, which translates into a decrease in feedback through the handlebars to the rider. This makes the Rubicon 520 relatively easy and comfortable to ride. Right out of the gate, you can tell the Foreman 520 got an increase in displacement because it's now called a 520 and not a 500, and that is called science. The actual increase is 43 cc's to a new total of 518, which is interesting if you think about it, because in case you were unaware, the old Rubicon 500 was actually a 475, so the 520 name is now more accurate than it was before. Along with the additional cc's comes new engine mapping, and these two things are designed to combine to give you more power and torque at low to mid RPM ranges. Does it actually feel like the Rubicon 520 has more power down low? Yes, it does, but it's not a massive increase. You gotta remember that the 500 Rubicon only produced 27 horsepower. Even being optimistic, it's not likely that this new 520 makes more than 30, maybe 32 max. This is one thing about the Rubicon 520 that I personally wouldn't be able to live with, because no matter how you look at it, it's underpowered. But many people who buy Rubicons aren't as concerned about horsepower as I am. In fact, most Rubicon buyers would put horsepower way further down the list of important buying criteria than I ever would, which means that while 30 horsepower wouldn't cut it for me, it's not a problem at all for others, and I can accept that. For 2020, Honda's DCT transmission also gets a bit of an update. It now monitors RPM all the way through the shift instead of just before the shift for overall smoother shifting operation. It also gets an all-new reverse actuation system that requires only one hand to operate and allows you to shift into reverse without selecting neutral first. The last new feature this DCT transmission gets for 2020 is the shift override system. This function allows you to manually override the automatic shifting parameters at any time while riding. So if you want to upshift sooner than the auto programming does, just push the up button. If you want to downshift early to take advantage of increased engine braking at higher RPM, simply push the downshift button. This is truly a great feature that makes the DCT transmission so much more usable and flexible. The final list of updates the Rubicon gets for 2020 includes a new rack system that takes advantage of Honda's Pro Connect accessory integration, an updated and restyled third headlight, updated front brush guard with integrated winch mount, and a 1.9-liter rider-accessible storage bin under the front rack. The Rubicon we have here is the Deluxe version, and you can tell because it has aluminum wheels wrapped in Maxxis tires, painted suspension components, and this gorgeous matte finish green painted plastic, but it doesn't actually say Deluxe on it anywhere, which I think is a little bit weird. Honda's done a great job giving both current Rubicon owners and all ATV buyers shopping in the 500 class a real reason to take a look at the 2020 Rubicon 520. The updates aren't just fluff. They're legitimate improvements that make the Rubicon 520 a better ATV for any user and any purpose. And while things like the DCT transmission and the lower horsepower wouldn't necessarily suit me personally, they certainly don't mean that this isn't a great ATV. For any buyer out there looking for a top quality, dead reliable, good performing vehicle with a geared transmission that also rides and handles well, I honestly can't think of a better option than Honda's new Foreman Rubicon 520. Thanks for watching Trax TV. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and leave us a comment. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and if you want to be notified of future updates, make sure you turn the bell on. Thanks for watching.